second issue is just a witness scheduling problem, not a severe problem, but nonetheless. I would ask that I be allowed to interrupt crime scene technician Evans' testimony very briefly. I have a very short witness. Her name is Natalie Goff. She is an autopsy technician who just made blood stain cards from the autopsies from the bodies of both children that are necessary for the predicate of future DNA testimony. Her direct will be about 5 to 10 minutes. She has some scheduling issues, and that's my request. And then I'll resume with Mr. Evans.
All right, so do I understand you wish to bring in Ms. Goff first this morning?
Yes, sir.
Judge, I don't have any objection to that. The two items that they're seeking to introduce, the blood stain cards, I'm not going to have any objection to those items being introduced. However, contained in both envelopes is a report generated from the medical examiner's office. So Mr. Pruner and I agreed that the report itself is going to be removed from the envelope, and the only item that's actually going to be admitted and potentially go to the jury is the actual blood-stained card. However, when...
Well, you've agreed that the only thing that's going to be offered into evidence, you all decide what you want to offer into evidence. You're offering the cards.
Just the cards.
But as far as identifying it, I believe he's going to leave the reports in there for identification purposes, but remove it as far as introducing the actual item.
Yes.
Okay. All right. With that understanding. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Other matters before we bring the jury in, and under those circumstances, I'll simply turn to the state to call its next witness, and I'll probably go ahead and explain to the jury that they understand that we're still having examination of crime scene technician Evans, and that we're going to interrupt that to accommodate the schedule for another witness. I'll just explain that to you. Okay, anything else before we bring this jury in and continue?
No, sir.
Mayor.
Bring jury in.
All rise, jurors in the courtroom.
And everyone can be seated. And good morning, members of the jury. We're going to proceed this morning. You may recall we're in the midst of the state's examination of crime scene technician Evans. And we're going to interrupt that this morning to accommodate the witness schedule and allow the state to call its next witness. State.
Natalie Goff.
Raise your hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, but the God?
Yes.
So please, right here.
Main partner.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Please state your name.
Natalie Goff,
Would you spell your last name for the court reporter, please?
G-O-F-F.
How are you employed?
I'm an autopsy technician at the Hillsborough Medical Examiner's Office.
And what do you do as an autopsy technician?
I assist the doctors in performing autopsies.
Okay, give us a bit about your educational and training background that qualifies you for that position.
I am a nurse, and I've taken instruction from the doctors since 2010.
Okay. Are you in school for an advanced degree in
Yes,
nursing?
sir. I will be an RN in a week.
Okay, thank you. In that capacity as an autopsy technician, were you involved in the investigation of the deaths of Bo and Calix Schenecker?
Yes, sir.
And were their bodies presented to the Hillsborough County Medical Examiner's Office on or shortly after January 28th of 2011?
Yes, sir.
And do your duties include the withdrawing of blood from a body that's presented to the Medical Examiner's Office and the creation of a blood stain card from that blood sample to preserve it for potential future DNA testing?
Yes, sir.
And did you do that in the cases of Bo Schenecker and Calix Schenecker?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you do that, do you take steps or precautions to avoid contamination of the blood so that the blood sample that's preserved and ultimately forwarded to the lab is not contaminated or deteriorated?
Yes, we do, sir.
What do you do in that regard?
Well, we only process one body at a time, and we clearly have the labels labeled specific to the individual we're working on.
And to make sure that the blood isn't contaminated, are you gloved?
Oh, yes, sir. Absolutely.
And are you in a sterile environment at the time you do that?
Yes, sir. We have a suite dedicated to that.
Okay. Let me show you what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit number 78E, and ask you if you recognize the contents of this exhibit as containing the blood stain card that you prepared from the body of Bo Schenecker.
Yes, sir. That is my initials.
Okay, and bears the HSO, or I'm sorry, the Medical Examiner's Office case number also?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The other item that's in the manila envelope, is that just a face sheet from the Medical Examiner's Office that's attached to any report?
Yes, sir. We obtain this to get a general idea of what happened to the person when they come in, so we kind of just know how to proceed for the doctor.
Okay, and that bears the same Medical Examiner's case number that is on the blood card, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to remove the paperwork from the exhibit and move State's Exhibit 78E into evidence.
Subject to the previous stipulations and objection.
Without objection, State's Exhibit 78E for identification is received as State's Exhibit 78E.
And then let me show you what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit number 79G. I'm removing part of the the entire contents of it. Do you recognize the container within that exhibit as containing the blood stain card that you prepared from the body of Felix Schenecker as it was presented to the medical examiner's office in January of 2011.
Yes, sir.
And did you use the same procedures you previously described in preserving the blood stain card from Bo Schenecker?
Same procedure. Yes, sir.
And of course, was there the companion paperwork in that manila envelope, the same type of paperwork that we saw from the previous exhibit and that I removed from that exhibit?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Then I move State's Exhibit 79G into evidence with the exception of the single page of the sheriff or medical examiner's face sheet from it.
No objection.
Proceed without objection.
And ultimately, before they're shipped off to some other location for testing, were each of these exhibits, both blood stain cards, preserved in a fashion and refrigerated so that the DNA would not deteriorate?
Yes, sir. We have a specialized drawing room that we put them in, and they have to stay overnight before any police agency can take them.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions, Ms. Bell.
Cross-examination, counsel.
No questions, Judge.
May this witness be excused.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ma'am, you may step down and you're free to go.
Thank you, sir.
Prepared to resume with crime scene technician Evans.
Yes, sir.